If you can be spiritual with your friends, your friendship will be so much deeper, so much richer. Don't be embarrassed. Try it. Remember, being spiritual doesn't mean that you all have to go to temple together, mandir together, church together, synagogue together, gurdwara or mosque together. It doesn't mean that. It just means that together you have to commit that you don't want to live as an object and seeing others as objects, that you want to live by knowing that your spirit, that your soul, that your consciousness, that your love, that your truth. You want to live with that greater awareness. So how to do it with your friends? First of all, have some fun with it. Have a quote a day. Divide up. Every day a different friend has to come up with some very inspiring quotation. It can be from scriptures. It can be from a wise person of any tradition, a saint, a sage, a prophet, a rishi, a yogi, a mentor, a teacher, a philosopher. Doesn't matter who it's from. So many people say beautiful, inspiring things. Everybody chooses one a day. If you can get 7 friends together, then it's easy. Everybody just has to do it once a week. If not, if a smaller group, so you do it twice a week. But each day someone chooses a quotation and then sends it to everybody. And then all day long, you each think about that quotation and you keep sharing, maybe by text message, maybe by email, maybe when you see each other, but you keep sharing your thoughts on that quotation every day. Next, most important for spiritual friendships, have a rule. No judgment, no criticism, no gossip. Because the first rule of friendship is trust. And if we're sitting together, 5, 6 people, and one person stands up and leaves, and everybody else talks about that person who's just left, what does that mean? Well, it means when I stand up to leave, everybody's going to talk about me. And that means that I can't trust the people I'm sitting with. And if you want to have deep, meaningful friendships, you have to be able to trust each other. But if you talk about someone else, it means they're going to talk about you too. It's the rule. So stop gossiping. No negativity. There's so much to talk about. You don't have to rely on these cheap shots of complaining about someone or gossiping about someone or sharing someone else's secrets just to give you something good to talk about. It's cheap, it's shallow, it's mean, and it doesn't actually bring you closer together. All it does is make you, on a deep level, distrust each other. Because on some level, you know, if they're going to tell that person's secrets, it means they'll tell my secrets. If they're going to use gossip about that person to get close to me, well, then maybe they're going to use gossip about me to get close to somebody else. So none of that. Practice complimenting each other, benefiting each other, sharing positive things about each other, helping each other, uplifting each other, encouraging each other. That's what friendship is for. And practice something called compassionate listening. What that means is, usually when someone speaks to us, first thing we do is we start planning what we're going to say in our own mind. So we're not even really listening because we're actually planning what we're going to say. These days, what most people do when you talk to them, they look at their phones. Now, obviously, it means they're not really listening. Practice really listening and listening compassionately. What that means is I open my heart to you. I'm not going to try to fix you. I'm not thinking in my mind what the solution to what you say is so that I can tell you what you have to do. Nobody wants to hear it. People are also smart. Whatever you're going to tell them to do, chances are they've already thought about it. So unless they say to you, oh, please tell me what to do, really what they need is just compassion. Listen to them. You know, in psychology, they did a great study many, many years ago when I was studying psychology, in which they took all of the different streams and schools of psychology, different streams of therapy together, and they wanted to see which works best. So they had, you know, a behaviorist and a cognitive behaviorist and a psychodynamic psychotherapist and all these different schools of therapy. And then the control group that they had was just a nice person, nice man, nice lady to talk to. And what they found was that not only was there not a significant difference between the different schools of therapy, but there wasn't even a significant difference between talking to someone who was very well trained in a type of therapy and just talking to someone who was really nice and compassionate and listened. So simply listening to your friends is the greatest gift that you can give them. Because to be really heard, to be really seen, not as a body, not as a score or a grade or a goal or a basket that they made, but really listened to. Ultimately, that's what everybody wants. We want to be seen. We want to be known. We want to be understood. We want to be loved for who we are, not for the story that we project, not for the identity that we curate on social media. So really practice compassionate listening. It'll change your heart. It'll change and heal their hearts. And it'll bring you together so closely that these friends become friends for life.